that's the thing with pre-recorded. Pre-recorded, you can just go on, do whatever you want, edit it, and post it up. You know, when you're live, man, you're live, and whatever it is, it is.
Like a freestyle rapper, you guys just come out.
Are we live?
We're good, man.
We're back.
All right, so Instagram, we're back. Let's just cross our fingers and wait 30 seconds. Everybody's joining back in. All right. Tyrell Sykes, Whole Squad 40. Day of Fit, what's going on? Dwayne Day, top teacher, Shane Lab. What's going on, man? So I hope everything's going good with that surgery recovery. I know you're in it. I know it's only a couple days, but, you know, God willing, you're going to be getting better fast. Beast By says, love you guys. Thank you. Or lost you guys. Stefan Muscle, DMK Fitness. Gaines, Chris, what's up, man? Jesus, took forever. Yeah, man. Listen, you need to come down for the Key West Car Show. It's at Forenza High Performance, where your car is at, and go check out what's going on with your ride. We'll talk about the typical dose of BPC 157. Neil, what's going on? Rough Boy, Tony Litton. All right, so we had some technical difficulties. We're back. We got a great show. So let's talk about the first topic, and this one's a pretty big one. So a lot of people go through injuries. Whether you're an athlete, a regular person, day to day, the older you get, you know, you're more prone to injuries.
A lot of people mask their injuries.
This is true. This is true. Or have something that, you know, they have an accident or something like that you know, has a debilitating injury or a chronic injury per se. Something that hasn't healed properly and, you know, is affecting quality of life and just doesn't know how to fix it, or they don't want to do surgery and they want everything else, other options on the table to be able to do that, you know, the more natural way, I guess. So when we talk about BPC 157, so body protection compound, and that's a therapy of the week, right? Now, where this comes from, it comes from the gastric juices in the body. So it derived from those juices. And it's good for anything that's going to be in the intestine area and the stomach area right away. It's an amino acid sequence, and basically at that point, it's going to be good for IBS. It's going to be good for Crohn's. It's going to be good for ulcers. But it's also good for healing, like muscles, joints, tendons, ligaments. There's a lot of people, a lot of patients. I think I just seen one that Drew posted today, exactly on the story we reposted from Bob Hackett. So that was awesome.
He had I think he had a forearm and elbow injury, or not.
Golf elbow and tennis elbow.
Yeah. And I guess it was going on for a year and a half. He started with the BPC, and it's all gone down.
Yeah.
I was the same way from arm wrestling, messed up my elbows a little bit. I don't have any pain in my elbows anymore.
Oh,
a little bit of
God.
the shoulder, a little bit, but that's more, I don't know. But it definitely will help the problem rather than just mask it. Like I said earlier, a lot of times people pop Advil or pop pain pills, this and that, just so they can get their workout done. Once that stuff wears off, you have more of an injury because that connective tissue and cartilage is grinding and grinding even more. So, you don't want to mask the pain, you want to fix it. BPC is actually going to fix the connective tissue.
Yes. And that's the big thing. It's not masking. You know, even when we talk about shoulder injuries or knee injuries and stuff like that, or even joints, I see a lot of people out there that are promoting like Nandrolone, right? Nandrolone can mask those things, you know.
Water it down, basically.
They basically water it down, lubricating those areas so it's not as bad. It takes the pain away for a little bit. But you get some other negative side effects that could possibly go with this, like raising prolactin levels, you know, and this can create unwanted different things, and, you know, ED issues along with other issues, you know.
ED comes from the raised prolactin.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people will take Nandrolone, also known as DECA, and they have sensitivity in the nipples. So what they do is they take anastrozole, or they take tamoxifen, which it's not even the same thing. So,
right.
Yeah, you don't want to take something that's just going to mask something and give you a whole slew of other stuff going on. So.
What up, Violet Flame Touch Blue? All right, guys, are we echoing? Please, because we did have somebody out there saying we're echoing. So if we are echoing, please let us know. All right.
Yeah, we're trying out the headsets, guys. So let us know if it's better this way or the other way.
Please. So check this out. So does this help with chronic inflammation? So BPC 157. So yes, it's great for inflammation. And it's great for injuries per se, like even acute injuries that just happen. So if you're in the gym and you're benching and then all of a sudden, like the next day, you're having like serious shoulder problems. Yes. Like this is something, you know.
I remember those days.
Oh man, for sure. You know, if you're going real heavy and stuff like that, you know, this can cause good effects as far as getting the inflammation out of there and helping heal the area, or at least bringing blood to the area to recover or to heal the area faster if it's healable. some things are just not healable, and BPC might help a little bit, but it's not going to heal different things like broken bones or stuff like that, like very serious injuries that you're going to want to make sure that you guys get tended by a proper medical physician or surgeon at that point that needs to take care of those injuries. But always follow up, and the best thing I could say is that if you have a really, really serious injury, you can try BPC 157 and TB 500. But if it's starting to get out of sight, you want to check out, make sure that you guys are getting, an X-ray per se, if you need an X-ray of the area or an MRI scan of the area, just to make sure that you guys know where you guys are at. If it's a torn labrum or a knee or just something going on, you want to make sure that you guys have all the facts, and at least you know where you're at. So hey, listen, this is where I'm at. I'm at stage 3 slap tear, and they're saying I need surgery. What can I do to try to heal this myself? Try those other options, and then if it doesn't work, then you might need to go underneath the knife and get those things fixed properly. So it's just something to think about, because a lot of people go through these different things. And as we age, like I said, those joints hurt, those shoulders hurt, knees hurt, elbows hurt. So what can you do to try to help heal those areas or make those areas or your body feel better?
Right. And also, too, it's not just for injuries. Unless a lot of times people automatically say, I want to take BPC because I have pain, because I have an injury. Because if you have no pain and no injury, and you're looking to get strong, fast, you're taking MK677, or you're increasing your calories, or increasing your poundage, your volume, I would definitely recommend BPC, even if you don't have an injury or pain yet. Because what it's going to do is going to strengthen your connective tissue and ligaments, like I said last week. As your muscles are getting stronger, your connective tissue is getting stronger too. Then you won't have those pains that a lot of times people have from not taking it in the beginning. So even if you don't have pain, it's kind of like a preventative thing. So you strengthen everything. Don't just strengthen your muscle and not strengthen your ligaments. Strengthen everything at the same time. So it's not just for injuries. It's to prevent injuries or prevent pain from coming, even if it hasn't been there yet.
Absolutely. It's one of the best. Hey, guys, let us know about the audio right now. Some people say...
Let's go one mic because this AC vent.
Okay. All right, so let's talk about this. Give me one thing, shot fit, and then we're just going to go from one mic and just go from there.
Yeah, let's do it.
Sorry, guys. I appreciate you guys sticking with us through this little technical difficulty. We're trying out these new different things, trying to make things better for the show. And sometimes,
Crazy air vent can do it. All right.
ventilation here is off the chain because we got to make sure the air is purified here. So it's actually a really good thing because we're a medical center. So at that point, really, really good. So hopefully you guys can hear us a lot better.
All right.
All right?
Headsets or no headsets?
No headsets. We're good.
No headsets. So we're going to be,
Mix it.
And now you're like, something about putting those headsets on, like, puts you just like, you're this little.
Yeah, it's like tunnel vision.
It is. It's like
tunnel
tunnel
vision. I
vision.
can hear you blink in your eyes. Those things is it's great. You hear every little movement in your mouth. Everything's crazy.
Okay, all right. So Shad C. Fit said, is BPC 157 better in liquid or pill form, or does it matter? So, with BPC 157 in particular, now I wouldn't say this about any other peptide, but if you swallow this thing, it's going to go into your intestines, what you're trying to heal, or if that's what you're trying to do. But if it's an area like your shoulders or elbow or golf elbow or tennis elbow or something like that you're trying to heal, you're going to want injection.
Yeah, I would definitely go injection over oral. If you have, just like John, if you have certain reasons why you can't,
right.
But I would definitely go injectable.
For sure,
you're not going to
100%.
lose anything. It's getting closer to where it's going to be at. You don't have to worry about interfering with your stomach or with your food.
Yep.
You never know how new compounds are going to work in your stomach, but if it goes straight to the muscle, you have to worry about that.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can do the subcutaneous around the muscle area or whatever area is injured. You guys will be good to go as far as that.
Like when I had elbow pain, the elbow was, if you look at my elbow, it's kind of pointy. It was right on the point of that's where the pain was. Oof. So what I did is I would just put it literally right here. Just above it, there's a little bit of soft, just a little bit in with like a 30 gauge, 30 gauge 1 inch or even a ½ inch.
Yep.
And just put it in a little bit and just push it right through. So you don't go into the bone. You don't go into the actual tendon.
No.
You just find a soft area where you can go closest to where it's at. So I would do mine for the elbow pain was here. I would do here.
That's
when I was arm wrestling, it was going this way. So this was all torn up. When I was arm wrestling, I would put it here because the pain was more inside here. But just anywhere, I mean, you don't go into a vein.
No.
But anywhere where you could find like in a little soft area, just go right in.
Yep. It should
so
be
easy.
It's very simple and very easy. And we can walk you through it. Yeah. Plus, we got tutorial videos for the most common areas to inject.
Yeah.
And if it's a more technical area, just call us. We'll be happy to go through those injections with you and tell you a good spot to do it. So you guys aren't just, going in the dark and trying to inject where you think it's going to be the best spot. Because that might not be the best spot. So
We got a good comment on it from YouTube up here.
Sure.
You can see it.
Yep. I have diverticulitis. Excuse me.
That word.
Diverticulitis. I know what it is. It's basically when you eat something. It's like a reaction you get within your intestines. My dad's got it. So when he eats corn, like he had to go in the hospital for this. It's pretty serious. So I was wondering if BPC 157 would be help. Yeah, for that. So basically, yes, it would definitely help for any stomach issues or intestinal issues that you have. This is a good one. And that point, it should help out tremendously with the issues. So give it a try. It's definitely worth it, because that is something that you have to live with your whole life, and that could definitely affect quality of life. Because when you go out and you eat at a restaurant, they don't know sometimes, and you don't know that there might be a little bit in there, whatever it is, or whatever that food is or ingredient.
Yeah, because we automatically attribute peanuts,
yes,
shellfish,
yes,
but corn or bananas, we don't look at stuff like that.
We don't look at stuff like that unless it's like it's laid out.
It's like milk,
exactly.
Milk, nuts, shellfish. That's like the allergy, the typical thing.
You have to make them aware of this at restaurants, or sometimes you have no idea. And a lot of people don't even think about it at that point. They think they're going to order it. They don't see it on the menu when they're ordering it, and they have no idea that could be a possible ingredient. So just check it out, okay? All right, what else do we have here? I'm going 40 units a day. Just got my BPC 157 Wednesday. I'll be calling next week. All right, so 40 units, that's pretty good. So 40 units, now if you diluted that with 5 mLs Dwayne Day, that's a 15 milligram vial, so you're talking about 3,000 or 3 milligrams per insulin syringe. And at that point, you should be taking, you're taking what, right underneath 1,500 micrograms, so 1.5 grams. That's pretty good. And you're taking that split per day?
I think that's what I was doing, 40 units. I think I was doing 40 units.
Yeah. It's a pretty strong dose as far as that goes. So, when you're talking about BPC 157, usually the average dose out there from any medical clinic is usually 250 micrograms to 500 micrograms, right? So it's half a gram at very most. And you're supposed to split those through the day, or you can take them all at the same time just for a stronger dose. The biggest thing about BPC 157 and TB 500 is you want to do it as repetitive as you possibly can. I know there's other dosing protocols out there that say a couple of days, you do straight for a couple of weeks and stuff like that. But the more you do, honestly, the better. There's nothing that's harmful that's going to come out of taking this medication.
Now, is there anything that they shouldn't be taking with BP? So pretty much, obviously, you guys, stuff that we carry, what I'm talking about.
No.
If you go into your doctor and he's prescribing something that I know nothing about that we don't carry, ask that person.
No.
But in terms of Titan therapies, they could take anything they want with the BPC.
Absolutely. So that's the best thing. When it comes to Titan Medical Center therapies, there's no interaction. The only one that there's a possible interaction with now is ECAs and our Prometheus. So those are the only two that you're not supposed to be taking together like that right away. Everything else, like the vitamin amino acid injectable therapies, the peptides, anything like that, you can take on top of each other. You can stack them per se, or you can utilize them all at the exact same time or throughout a time period, whatever.
Or you could even mix them in the same syringe. That's what I do with my Titan Complete and my Hercules, because I
It's
train in the
also
morning.
water-based, for sure.
So I'll just mix it in the same syringe. I'll use like a 3 ml, and I'll put one Titan Complete and one Hercules, or sometimes 2 Hercules, all in the same syringe. Just put it in my glute. That way I feel it everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, it's a lot easier like that too. So
Shaquille Walker, what's going on? Dawn Hastings, DC Baker, what's up? All right, Steve Wazaz, Steve. All right. Dean, we're going to answer this question next. Hey guys, I'm a Titan patient. I'm wondering if I should be injecting my daily dose of IGF-1 into belly fat, or would it be better intermuscular? So it's a common question, right? Now, IGF-1 is great for a lot of different things, especially leaning up and stuff like that and losing weight. Now, the way you can utilize this for weight loss, so there's 2 different ways you can use it. You can use it for weight loss. Either way, you're just going to get into your body, right? Or you can use it for hopefully helping build more leaner muscle tissue. At that point, the first way, you can inject it subcutaneously, and that's going to be good for overall benefits of using IGF-1. If you want to use it to create more muscle growth, possibly, you're going to want to inject that bilaterally. That means into both sides of the muscles you're working.
Yeah, you want to be even. Basically, when he says obviously by two, so you want to go
Bilateral.
both sides. So you don't want to have one arm.
And I use the
mean,
arms just if
yeah.
it's chest, if it's calves, whatever you're doing as far as that goes, muscle group wise, you usually want to do it bilaterally. Now, there's a flip side to that. If you have an atrophy, a muscle that's went through atrophy, right, and you're trying to build that muscle back up, you can do the full dose into that muscle.
That's exactly what I do for my arms.
That's you utilize it, right? You got to utilize these different therapies for the benefits, the full benefits. And if you know how to really utilize them, like Drew does now for sure.
When I do arms, I'll do 2 ml in this arm and
You
just
know?
won't even touch this one
Yeah,
because this
so-
biceps bigger, has more of a peak, so it's kind of like okay.
So it's
I'll
trying to
put
bring
in
it
this.
up. So
Yeah.
I mean, there's some different ways to utilize it. So at that point, listen, if you have questions about this and you're a Titan Medical Center patient, you guys, our family, you guys can always call. We have your support. Call or text the line 727-389-3220. Ask the questions to our medical staff. They'll answer them. And if they don't or something happens, listen, guys, you guys have me live twice a week, and I'm here with Big Drew every week for Titan Lifestyle. So we'll answer these things live for you guys. You guys can DM us, inbox us. We look at these different things. So we want to make sure we are taking care of you guys, and you guys are getting the best overall, best results with the best health possibly.
Well, you guys can also do it too, because I see the questions coming up on the screen. If we don't get to your questions, screenshot your question and send it to my DM.
Yep.
So that way, if I see it, I'll know. Okay, we need to touch base on that next week, and we can also give you a shout out too for
absolutely.
letting us know. So say your name's Mike Smith. Hi, I'm Mike Smith. Blah blah blah.
Yep.
This is the question. I didn't get to it last week.
Yep.
I'll go through my DM, check it out. Next week, you're gonna tune back in.
Yep.
That means you guys are tuned back in.
Yep.
Obviously, to get your question, we can get it answered and give you
For
a shout
sure.
out too.
That's a great idea. So, I mean, you guys can always screenshot those, shoot them over to us. We'd be happy to put them on the TV show, the live show that we do, and answer them live for you guys. So you guys can tune in, get the questions answered live for you guys, and we'll go over them.
Or if it's something small too, I could answer real quick. I could throw it up on my story too, so that way if you
Sure.
see my story, see Titan's story,
That's great.
how do I take my BPC? Can I take 2 ml at the same time?
Yep.
Next thing you know, you look at my story, I give you a shout out on my story, let you get the shout out, let you know your questions being answered.
Right.
It saves a lot of time that way too.
All right, Dwayne, let me know how it goes with this recovery on that shoulder, man, because he's using BPC, so and these are pretty good doses, so at that point. And I know the THC might help you too. I split mine 50-50 to Drew. Yeah, for sure. Chris Gaines. All right, Big Irishman split. Jay Jacobs in the house. What's going on? Sonny Gloat, Holden Outlaw, Paul T. Can my dad, who is 66, take IGF-1? So fast. That's a good question, right? So when you become 6 years old, like what we do for our patients, if it's 60s and above, in that tier, we want to do different things as far as making sure that they're healthy. So they're going to have to, just get a physical. They might need EKG as far as that goes for IGF-1 and stuff like that, and definitely a blood test, and then health history is going to count. So we're going to make sure that that it's going to be healthy for them to be able to take this therapy. Because if it's not, we don't care about the money. That's not a big thing to us. We want to make sure that health is number one priority, and he's going to be healthy taking this therapy. Because at that point, some people can't take these different therapies like IGF-1, and there's reasons why. So
and what would his reason be for taking it too? So I mean,
So-
everybody has different reasons. So if he's 66, if he goes to the gym, if he doesn't go to the gym, what would his reason be for
Yeah.
taking it at that age?
Yeah, so
and is he already in shape? I mean,
yeah, that's
a lot
a
of
big
questions
thing.
need to be answered with someone that age.
Absolutely. Plus, the other thing that you want to look at is you want to really blood test. So if you're blood testing IGF-1 levels like we do, you're seeing what that level's at. Now, if that level's in the tank, of course, this is a good therapy or other possible therapies that are out there that could possibly benefit him. But if it's a good IGF-1 level, at that point you don't want to mess with that. And I always tell people, even younger guys that are trying to get bigger, whatever it is, the first thing they want to do is they look at, anabolics and stuff like that to add on top, or they look at different things like growth hormone or insulin or whatever it is. And you just gotta look at where your levels are at. And if they're really, really good, don't tank them. Don't do that. Wait it out because it's coming. It comes.
Yeah, keep 'em good.
It
Keep
comes.
'em good,
Eventually with age, your levels are going to decrease unless you're Superman or you got some like phenomenal genetics that I have seen out there once or twice. But other than that, man, it's gonna be tough to keep those levels up, especially with everything out there, like chemicals and everything like that.
And
food.
everything is so mood enhanced, I guess I would say now.
Yeah.
I mean, everything has caffeine in it. They have stuff to wake you up, stuff to put you to sleep.
Yeah.
Everything has caffeine. Crystal
Yeah.
Light has caffeine now. Everything's caffeine.
Because
so
people are
it's like,
tired.
Yeah, and the thing is when people
And
are tired, their adrenal glands are getting burnt out
Absolutely.
from drinking caffeine all day long. I only have one
Absolutely.
caffeine dose a day. Maybe two. I may have a cup of normal coffee.
Right.
But for the most part, I take my ECA and I take with my coffee first thing in the morning before I go work out. If I would do that all day long,
Yep.
after a while, it's not going to do anything. My glands are going to be shot. I'm going to have to take more and more. And then they're going to be looking for an alternative to get their energy, which may not be as safe as just regular caffeine.
Of course.
It's not good to just load up on caffeine all the
Yeah,
time.
no, overdosing on caffeine,
Yeah.
building that tolerance up to a super, super high amount per day to even getting an effect.
Yeah.
And at that point, you're on fumes. If you guys are car guys out there, it's like run your car on nitrous all day long, and then your motor is dependent on that nitrous to even start after a long time. So it really does. Like I try to break down layman terms for everything that's out there, and it really does. Like you're running yourself down, and eventually it's going to catch up to you. You're going to pay it just now or later. You know, it is what it is, and it could be an ongoing thing. Like every day, you know, you have to get up and go to do your job. You got to take care of your kids. You know, you got to do this. You got to do that. You have these responsibilities, and no matter what, you got to do it. Now, are you going to do that your best possible, you know, way or best possible I don't know, effort? I guess if you don't have the energy or you're lethargic. I mean, it's the common
energy
thing.
makes energy and mood enhancing makes everything better.
For sure.
It makes your day better, everything better. Everything's basically mood.
Yeah.
A lot of times people have a whole bunch of energy, but they'll be in a bad mood.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we have stuff at Titan that put you in a good mood and give you energy and perform better in the bedroom. So it's like what we were saying before, like, yeah, you may be able to get a crazy erection from something that you may have, but at the same time, you're not going to be in the mood.
No.
Take our stuff, you're in the mood, you got an erection. That's
right.
Yeah, that's when you make a name for yourself.
The triple threat, baby. That's what it's all about. You know, it's quality of life that goes along with that. You know.
Yeah.
All right, Tommy Recipio. Thanks so much for the information. I'll definitely come to see you guys. I live in Southwest Florida, Punta Gorda, about 2 hours from you guys. Thank you and God bless. So that's awesome, Tommy. Thank you. We definitely know where Punta Gorda is at too as well. So hopefully you'll get down to come see us in Tampa. When you do, man, make sure you ask and tell them that John said we're going to give you some Titan swag. And I'll probably be here. But if I'm not, but I definitely want to meet you. So if I'm here, just ask for me. And at that point, they'll tell you if I'm here or not. And hopefully I'll be here because I'm here most of the time. But otherwise, get some Titan gear. Make sure they give you a shirt and everything like that and take care of you, all right? All right, so what else do we got here? Thanks for the info. Really appreciate it. No problem.
Chris Mahoney, Dan
Chris
Lyons,
Mahoney,
Chris Gaines, everybody's on there.
Man, Larry Culp, what's going on?
Gabriel.
Real L Fitness. Hulk Squad, by the way, went to the gym this morning, trained light arms, easy motion. All right, man, be careful. Definitely be careful because we don't want to hurt those injuries for sure. What would you recommend for a 6-year-old power lifter still competing?
A 60?
60. 60, that's
BPC.
good. BPC 157.
BPC, yeah.
Now, it depends on what you're trying to do, right? What you're asking in that question. Is it healing? But either way, BPC, because you're going to do some damage either way. And
Especially, you've probably already done damage.
oh,
if you've been
God.
powerlifting in your 60.
Years of damage, probably.
You probably don't even know what it feels like to work out without pain.
Ouch.
I mean, I'm assuming.
Those guys are soldiers.
Yeah.
Those guys are soldiers. Waking up in pain, going to sleep in pain. Woo! But your BPCs are going to be a good one. Glutathione's a good one for inflammation, too. And then, obviously, you know, if you're looking for, you know, better recovery,
HRT.
more strenuous, you can look at HRT. That's obviously going to be a good one to look at 6 years old, your levels, making sure everything's dialed in, too. So, you know, a lot of people say, well, I'm already taking testosterone. Well, are your levels dialed in? Not just testosterone levels, but estrogen levels and such. Making sure everything's running like, you know, a high-performance sports car or supercar. You want to make sure everything is balanced and harmonically, like, together. So at that point, you guys are running at the optimal way you possibly can. But Hercules Potion, man, for sure. Hey, my shoulder looks big time bigger than Drew's because of the surgery. That's funny.
You seen this one up here, John?
I had
Gabriel
a
had a good
nerve
question.
issue. What was that?
Gabriel had a good question.
Gabriel? All right, I had a nerve issue from back issues and bulging disc in my neck. Can it help with those nerve issues? I'm not going to say it can. That's pretty serious. So
Nerve is a little bit different.
Nerves are a little bit different. It's not like a connective tissue or anything like
Yeah,
that.
it's not
So
muscle. It's not bone. It's not.
it could possibly give some relief because with that it's going to come inflammation from the nerves. But
I would definitely ask your doctor. And
yeah,
see.
yeah. I mean, any
your
doctors,
neurologist or
they're
whoever.
never going to say BPC 157. They're gonna try to give you a nerve blocker.
Are they going to try to get money out of you and make you take a pain medication
Yeah,
to keep
so-
you coming back
yeah.
and coming back?
Like a nerve blocker is what they usually prescribe for something like this. Even naltrexone and some things, because it's the brain, taking all that out, and that's what they give. Like drug addicts, naltrexone, and it's just soft subjects. But naltrexone blocks this. And it blocks drugs, like basically. So, if you take drugs and you're on naltrexone, you don't get the high feeling.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So basically, just it X's out that.
It's like a waste of money then. For
Yeah,
people, if
well,
someone's a drug addict, to spend all the money on drugs and then take that.
That's what they do.
But in terms of withdrawals,
Detox.
they won't have the withdrawal.
Yeah, detox. Oh, they'll still have withdrawals.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless they're taking it, they'll get withdrawals. But once they stop whatever they're taking, they take naltrexone. They give it to them just in case these guys got second stashes. It helps them get through withdrawals in some circumstances. But I don't know, it's crazy. It's crazy. It was
A drug for a drug.
Yeah,
Like
pretty
methadone.
much.
It's like a drug for a
Pretty
drug.
much. All right, I got to get back on my game. So David, we'll definitely help you get back in your game. Princess Isabella, what's going on? Fanny Pack Stacy, what's going on?
Happy belated, Stacy.
Oh yeah,
Stacy, happy
Stacy,
belated.
we love you. Jeremy Moss, what's going on? Big Irishman, my dude. Dominic, what other questions we got here? Your opinion on sodium intake? It's a good one.
Depends what you're doing. I mean, that's a kind of a great question. I mean,
Right.
I limit my sodium as much as I can just because I like to have a more defined look. If you load up on sodium, you're going to have a lot of sub-Q water, blur out the muscle,
Yes.
and blood pressure,
Yes.
and other stuff too. So I try to limit my sodium, but you do need a little bit.
Yeah.
If you take it out completely, you're going to have other problems.
Yes, you'll have some serious problems if you take those out.
And
So,
if you take it out completely, or if you're looking to take it out completely, I would have one serving a day, maybe before you train. Maybe some sea salt or some Himalayan pink salt, like one dose, or even you could put your pink salt in your coffee before you train. But I'm not a fan of sodium.
No,
Whenever my
man.
sodium's real low, I get more shredded. I feel
Yeah.
better. Whenever my sodium's high, I have a headache, blood pressure, and I have like the balloon face.
low sodium, right? And there's a reason why all these companies are marketing low sodium, because high sodium is not a good thing. So taking a lot of salt, a lot of sodium, is definitely not good. You need a little bit, obviously, and you're going to get that through your diet. I don't care what you're taking in. So you're going to get that automatically. And even if you're cooking your food, right, like chicken or steak or whatever it is, you could, like, put a pinch of light salt on there, like, just for flavor,
Yeah.
whatever it is. I mean, that's what I do for my steaks. Like, literally, it's like a little bit of, I'm talking about like a pinch of salt on both sides, a pinch of pepper on both sides, some garlic.
Yeah, you don't want to be shake salt
No.
all over your food. Shake.
No.
I saw someone at a restaurant last week.
No.
As soon as they got the plate, we were sitting down to eat breakfast. As soon as the guy got his plate, it was like eggs and bacon, pancakes. He literally took salt and sprinkled.
I know
over,
people like that.
like evenly, like it looked like
Sharice used to
snow
be like
evenly
that.
over the whole thing. I'm like, wow, everything, like
Dude, Sharice used to be like that. She used to sprinkle salt over everything, and she used to eat McDonald's 3 times a day. And literally, so the thing about McDonald's is this, right?
So
Think about the fries in general. So the fries we know are
Yeah.
they aren't good for you, right? I'm going to say disgusting, but they taste good, I guess, right?
Yeah.
But they're horrible for you. Now the thing about their fries is this: is they cook the fries, they put them in there, and they salt them every time. They have a
I always
method-
get no salt with
right?
the fries. Yeah.
boom. They have a like how many times they spread salt. They have it like down to a science, and they tell the person like 3 sprinkles of salt. So the next thing comes around. Those sprinkles are big. They're not just little
Yeah.
ones. So the next batch comes in, 3 sprinkles of salt. All that salt is gathering. I mean, as a kid, I know, and I'm sure that people, if you do eat McDonald's or have eaten McDonald's before, you get those salty ass fries,
Yes.
right?
I like when the fries are a little well done, no salt. I like my fries
Oh
dry.
man, salty ass fries. So
Worst.
I haven't eaten them for a long time, but listen, I seen like my son wants them sometimes, and I'm not gonna cut everything away from him, but at that point I know it's bad for him, and I tell him, and he knows. So it's like a treat type thing, but it's just horrible. And I see it, I'm like, oh my god, this is horrible, man.
Yeah, if you look at
I
the
feel
sodium,
bad giving, like, let him
if
do
you
this.
guys, if one thing I will say, do not take at all if you look at the sodium content on ramen noodles,
Oh
I
yeah.
grew up on ramen noodles.
Anything packaged or canned.
I grew up on ramen noodles. The thing is one pack, the seasoning, the sodium, I believe, is 2,300 milligrams. It's either 23 or 33, and I believe that's half
Wow.
of a serving. So you're talking about 3,000 to 4,000 milligrams of serving in one pack of ramen
Wow.
noodles. I used to eat 3.
And that's because of the preservative factor. right?
Yes. So if you guys are ramen noodle people, or you like those noodles because they're so quick you could travel with them, take that packet and throw it in the trash can and season it with your own stuff.
Yeah.
Because that stuff is like crazy. So a lot of times people, hardcore bodybuilders or guys in prison, they'll do ramen noodles and tuna fish. Now you got mercury, sodium with the tuna in cans, and you got sodium with the ramen. It's like
It's
man,
horrible. It's horrible
bad.
stuff. So
Headache.
So with
Headache.
this, stay low on the sodium, right? I mean, listen, unless you get really, really serious, there's no way you're going to be able to cut all the sodium out of your diet.
Yeah.
So keep it low. And the more you control your food
That's
of,
half a block.
of what you cook or have somebody cook for you, the better you're going to know what you're intaking.
Right.
You know, it's hard to say sometimes when you go out and like let's say even you get grilled chicken for somewhere, how much salt do they put on there? You can't really dial it into exact.
And another thing too is you guys have to look at these serving sizes. Don't just look at the number. Like
Oh my
again, if you
God,
look at the
please.
screen right now, the ramen noodles pack
Please.
says it's like 1,700 milligrams, I believe, per serving.
Yep.
There's 2 servings in that container.
Yep.
Well, the per container is 1,760.
Yep.
So a lot. This is the lower one. I've seen the ones at 2,000. The chicken one is like 2,000. It's crazy. So, yeah, it's not good. Man.
I wouldn't eat that anyway. You know.
I just eat the noodles part. Like if I do have that, if I'm traveling or whatever, whatever, I'll literally just take the packet, throw it away, and have the noodles with some steak or the noodles with some beef. So the noodles is just like the rice portion, the carb portion.
Yeah. I remember eating a lot of these in military school. We had a microwave, so at that point back then, we did what we had to do.
We used to take the ramen noodles and break them up, like crunch them up, open the bag, sprinkle it in there,
You
and
know,
eat them like dry, like chips.
It
with the
almost
seasoning.
gets me back to another conversation we're gonna have another time, I guess. But you know, you think about if you're free right now, right? You can do whatever you want, eating wise, training wise. You have all the time whenever you want. You can dial us in or do whatever you want. Okay, and it takes people forever to really get in shape. Think about those guys in prison, and they don't have the resources for food like you have, right?
Yeah.
Their training schedule. I mean, it really
Yeah.
depends. I mean, that could what they have, for weights, what they have for machines, and some of those guys, the way they transform, even supplementation, right, or enhancement per se.
Right.
These guys don't got their hands on everything, or maybe they do. I don't know. That's probably
There's guys getting stuff in there. You got guys making
Dang.
Not all. Yeah.
D-ball brownies and stuff. Hey,
I'd say that's rare.
yeah, my grandma brought me brownies. Oh, I'm gonna eat the brownies.
It's
They're
a
tested
hot-
for marijuana and cocaine. Little do they know it has
Anabolics.
anabolics in it,
Yeah,
and the
wow.
guy's blowing up. But another
guess
thing, you brought up a good point. You said schedule. The reason why those guys, I believe, they can get in good shape is because they're on a schedule.
Right.
They sleep at the same time. They wake up at the same time.
Yep.
They eat at the same time. They train at the same time. Everything's on schedule. So once they get into a routine,
Yep.
their body's used to eating and everything like that. It's like a schedule thing.
Yep.
These guys outside, like myself included, we may go to the gym one day at this time, one day
Right.
at that time. May go to bed and may have a long day.
Right.
They're just schedule, and they have nothing to do. So it's just like,
Oh,
I feel like that's the
agree.
reason why they could blow up. They're eating a lot of bread. I know yeast is big. Like doing whatever they can to get big.
All right, so
or
I've,
small.
I've been working out with the pain for 20 years, and I don't want to stop working out. So Gabriel, definitely BPC 157. Try
20
it out.
years.
That's a long time, man. Wish I could do TRT, but it gives me crazy anxiety. Any suggestions? So David, this is a good one. So listen, if you're doing proper hormone replacement therapy, right, and it's dialed in and it's being monitored correctly, you won't get anxiety.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
I know exactly what it is right off the bat.
Are you doing?
So
was this
usually-
doctor prescribed, or is it? Is it? I mean, if you're doing a gram of test a week, then
Listen,
maybe.
This is where it comes from usually. Usually, if somebody goes to a general practitioner, they usually just get testosterone prescribed to them. So they're taking testosterone, right? Those levels raised, and they feel good the first couple of weeks, or maybe not. What happens is sometimes it's that conversion rate into estrogen. When the estrogen goes too high, anxiety levels kick in.
Oh, okay, that's
For
'cause it's
sure.
not correctly done. Yeah.
Oh, if it's not correctly done, you're going to get anxiety. You're going to get negative side effects. And this is when we talk about here, like people are like, oh man, I just want to do tests, or I don't want to do this, I don't want to do it. Listen, guys, we have it down to a science of what we do, and obviously we do it very well. So at that point, if you follow the plan, it's going to be successful. If you don't follow the plan, it's not going to be so successful. And you got to be consistent in what you're doing. I mean, this is key. Consistency in anything you do is key. So that just put that along with this, and you'll get the best out of it, or you won't. Just depends on what you do with it.
Yeah.
You know,
Stick to your program, dude. Don't follow someone else's thing, because I mean, when John says consistency, that's your consistency.
That's right.
It doesn't mean you need to do the same thing that the other guy does.
That's right.
We're pretty consistent, like with our food.
Oh,
Whenever
for
we
sure.
go out to a restaurant, he's eating the same thing, I'm eating the same thing.
Yeah.
It's kind of plain. You do what you got to do.
I love it.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
Dude, I love
mean,
it, man. Well, you know,
yeah.
I mean, honestly,
People look at it, you gonna eat that again? Yeah, I'm gonna eat it again.
If
and I'm gonna keep looking the way I look.
if people gave me the option to like wherever we go, let's say, and they were like, hey, listen, would you rather have this? I was like, no, like I want that. Like,
Yeah.
I look forward to that. Those meals, man. Like I look forward to a place that could do those meals properly. You wouldn't think it would be that hard for somebody to get like an order right if you're like, hey, listen, I just want a plain grilled chicken breast with nothing on it, and like a potato with nothing on it. Like literally, they'll come back like seasoned to death with like pepper and like salt. Like it's like encrusted on there because there's so much.
Yeah, we've had some horror stories at some restaurants.
We got. You know what?
Plain French fries. They come back. Or what was
Oh
it?
my god.
I don't want to give the restaurant any type of bad thing.
Yeah.
We were at one in Orlando. I'm not going to say who it was because the
Yeah.
restaurant's a good restaurant.
Yeah.
But I remember they brought like calamari.
Yes. It was like
What is
4
this?
times. Like we're like, listen, we just want some plain calamari, like nothing on it, like just old school calamari, right? Maybe some sauce on the side. You know, at first it was, boom, we would have this, and it was like all this sauce on it, and these peppers on it. I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah,
like
it was like more peppers and junk than actual calamari.
I mean, you know, we wonder why we're obese and stuff like that. And I'm not saying peppers are bad for you, but everything else onto this, you
and
know,
loaded with salt and sodium and soy sauce and seasoning. That's the problem. It's not the vegetables, the contents.
that's
on
another
top
big
of the
one.
vegetable.
Soy sauce, that's a huge one
Yeah.
content for a sodium. So don't
Yes,
put that on
teriyaki
food.
sauce,
And
high in
when you
sodium
eat
as well.
like hibachi and stuff like that, like, you know, lately, my son's been eating this. I'm like, listen, we got to slow this down because we don't want all this sodium going into your
Yeah.
diet. You know, it's just something you got to watch out for. And it tastes good.
Yeah,
It's
Peter's
supposed
always
to.
eating, man. He's always
He
eating.
is, right?
That is. Kicking
We got
it.
Tommy from YouTube. Nice little recipe for sweet potato fries.
Nice.
Chris Gaines, you are definitely not bloated. All right, so sweet potato fries, no salt, baked them in the oven with olive oil drizzled over the top. Best
Fries.
fry. Yeah, that's
Sounds
nice.
about right.
That sounds good. I like to do it with regular potatoes. I'm not a sweet potato guy, but a lot of people are, and they're supposed to be healthier for you. But do this with regular fries. So regular fries is another good one for me. So literally have like these slicers too. Like you can put them in there and like you just hit this thing and slice them down to like the little
Into the
little
fries.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching the show the other day, and I think it was.
They were great.
There were guys on in Ecuador, and there were guys making homemade french. He had like it looked like a circle.
Yeah.
And he would just take the potatoes.
That's
and
it is.
Quick, and it was like a whole stack
Boom.
of them.
Yeah, man. You can all I mean, you can put them in air fryer, so it's more healthy, or you can bake them.
And not
That's,
one fries.
that's
Yeah, I don't really like sweet potato fries.
You know,
either.
yeah,
With
I'm
ketchup,
not-
it just
I'm
doesn't
not-
taste
yeah.
right. Like I'll do actual sweet potato, but not as a fries
Yeah.
with ketchup. It doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like I said, I'm more regular baked potato guy. So either way, I can have it either way or. But that's a good one for people that like sweet potatoes out there. So great tip.
Tommy
Basic,
comes out
too.
big
Only
on
3
YouTube
ingredients.
Oh, thank you. All right,
Good stuff. All right.
that's awesome. We appreciate that.
The least amount of ingredients you guys can use in your food is better.
Yeah.
In terms
Physical
of seasonings.
architect, what's going
No,
on?
I used to work at McDonald's and we didn't care about any salt.
Yeah.
Just saturated. We
I ate
didn't care.
McDonald's every day for over 10 years up until 2 years ago.
And then wonder why it's 50% obesity about right now.
Yeah, right?
Oh, Dwayne, trust me, I know about the medications. So before you do surgery and stuff like that, they give you different medications. And those medications obviously take you and get you really high, and they get you really, tired and out of it, kind of woozy. They're getting you ready for the surgery. So, yeah, those medications will definitely get you out of it for sure.
All right. Topics?
Kelly Bardo, what's going on? All right, I see a lot of scar tissue. Where do you see a lot of scar tissue?
You see scar tissue?
Where's that at?
Where?
Yeah,
Who's
let
this?
us know. Bella Eden from The Shy.
Oh, is she
There was a like a smiley face with a, I guess that's a smiley face with a cry. I don't know.
Where's that cookbook?
You don't need D-ball, just have ramen noodles. Man, these are a lot. If I treat myself, fast food. There's so many comments on here. So if I inject IGF-1 and Titan Complete daily, could they be taken together in the same shot? Yes. You can take them together in the exact same shot. So anything's water-based, you can basically take together. So Titan Complete, Hercules Potion, IGF-1, you can put these in there. Or HCG and IGF-1, I mean, you can do that too as
If
well.
you guys want a stupid pump, do Hercules and IGF.
Oh, yeah.
That is going to have your arms on, yeah.
That's I think
If you have a
that's,
photo shoot or going to the beach, you
That's
just
the
want to look
ultimate level,
swole or
dude.
whatever, yeah.
that's the ultimate
That's
level
the
for
ultimate.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure. That's Mount Olympus style.
15-minute warning, gentlemen.
All right. Yes. I have a clinical anxiety. The only time it worsens if hormones aren't at the proper ratios. So Chris Gaines knows, dude. If you have a harmonic balance and you have your issues settled as far as that goes, even if you have real anxiety outside of hormones, and if your hormones aren't balanced, you're going to get super anxiety or have to be on medications that dull this area.
Should be it. You send things to Ohio?
No, Ohio, unfortunately, right now, because of COVID, they've been a stickler. Even though we're licensed, or our medical practitioners are licensed there, it's just been an issue with Ohio. So hopefully after COVID, this thing settles and everything like this, and emergency orders are going to be kicked back. Things are going to change a little bit as far as that goes. But I'm sorry, Ohio's out right now.
But we do ship to the states next to Ohio. So,
So,
I mean,
yeah,
depending on what you got to do.
Listen,
I
even
mean,
if you have a
if
friend
you
that-
live 3 miles from the border, then hey,
So I get the question a lot too, like from people out of the country. They're like, oh, you can't service us. I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't service. I'll show you. But if you have a person here in the United States, like a family member, a cousin, a friend, that we can send them medication to, and they can send it to you,
Right.
that's totally fine because you can do your appointment with us and stuff. But as long as you have somebody outside the state where you can go to a different state, no problem at all.
so everybody in Canada, get a lot of Canada.
Michigan.
That's the way you could do it in Canada.
Yeah, Michigan. Just send it to Michigan and stuff like that. I'm sure you guys are close to that border. Most of them anyway.
Yeah.
Man, we used to go there all the time. It's awesome. Great country Canada is. I wish we literally could set up there because we have a lot of people that
I
inquire
haven't
from
been to
Canada.
Canada since a long time.
Wow.
Montreal,
Wow.
Catherine Street. I used to hit all the bars and clubs down there when I was in high school.
All right, so let's get into our first topic. High school basketball league pays players $100,000.
Yes, it's about time. These
These
kids,
athletes get paid.
yeah, they're finally getting paid. But what I see is
High
no one is
schoolers.
going to be going to college anymore. Like, no one's going to.
Man, this is
I
gonna
mean,
be
you
crazy.
might, but if you're like automatically no, if you're a top 20, top 30 high school player, where pretty much you're going to be looked at to go pro in a couple years. If
So-
you come from a bad environment, if your family has no money, maybe a single household, you may have been struggling your whole life, now all of a sudden you're going to get $100,000 to do what you've been doing every day, and you could just chill from you. I mean, is that going to be 1 year, 2 years?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Could they stay in that league?
I don't know. I mean, at that point too, like, is it just seniors that could be in this league?
Yeah, I want to know the fine details.
Because the juniors, like, because think about it.
You could leave
get
high
a
school early.
sophomore, right?
Yeah.
$100,000. And what's that kid, like 16, 17 years old?
16, yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah, but at the same time, they're not going to be in charge of their own money. They still have well, they might, but I mean, in
Yeah,
other
their
words, if-
parents are, but it's going to be their money, so they're going to be. It's going to be like a guardianship type deal.
yeah.
But at that point, like, they're going to get the money when they turn 18.
Yeah, and I see a lot of like
18 you're an
fraud type
adult.
stuff going on.
Oh man.
In other words, if you know a kid doesn't really have any family or whatever, you could just take him in your household because he's 7 feet tall and has a 3-point shot. So if he has no family, you could bring him into your house at 16.
Wow.
Because you know next year he's going to get $100,000
There's
because you know the
people
year
out there
after
like
that you're
this,
going to get millions. So it's like, I could see players leaving early, like LeBron James. He probably could have left when he was 16.
For sure.
Zion Williamson.
For
he
sure.
probably could have left when he was 16. This new kid, 7-foot guard, Chet Holmgren, top player in the country. He could play pro right now.
Yeah.
So I mean,
But there's got to be some restrictions to where, what age level they can be at. Because like 16 to 18-year-old athletes. So if you're a 16-year-old kid, man, like, you don't have a high school diploma, right? That's great. Then go on, they're gonna get $100K. Let's say they tear an ACL or something happens, debilitating. Like, they're not gonna be able to come back as good as they were.
yeah.
What are they going to do afterwards? Now these guys can't hardly even read and write. They have no idea arithmetic-wise.
Yeah, they've just been getting pushed through the whole.
You know what I'm saying? There's things why it's something we need to look after too. Or if you're an athlete, the biggest thing is even if you're a professional athlete, most of those, I think it was some crazy high number. I think it was over 40% professional athletes lose all their wealth after they're done with that sports.
I know.
You know, maybe more. Okay, it might be higher than that.
Was it Jamarcus Russell? Or,
yeah. So at that point, the biggest thing is setting up for later, because you know what you're doing now is great, but you know, I mean, you always want to make sure that you're set up for later. So at this point, don't live just in the present all the time. You got to think about what's coming on later, or you know, for rainy day per se, right? And a lot of people don't, and they just go through it. Some people spend it faster than they get it in. And these athletes, I'm just worried about these kids because, man, even professional athletes that are 20 or 30 years old cannot manage their money properly. Who's to say that these kids can, first off, and then their parents?
Right.
You know, I mean, their parents.
Yeah, and I could also see parents
or guardians
pushing their kids to do that so they can get the money.
For sure.
Like in other words, if the kid doesn't really even want to, I'm not ready yet. I want to go to college. I want to experience the dorms, college life. No, you're going to play pro because we need the money. So it's kind of like the kid's not 18 yet. So when his mom says you need to do this, or his dad or whoever says you need to do this, now they have to do it. So it's like they're taking the kid's money. It's like the parents almost like it's their money.
Vicariously
it's their
through them
money
at that point.
So it's like the parents getting $100,000 a year until the kid goes pro.
If they go pro.
If they go
pro, because this isn't a guarantee here. Like,
but
that's
$2,000. That's basically translates about $2,000 a week. $2,000 a week to a high school kid is like $1 million.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, these kids are going to be like, I mean,
Jordan shoes, jerseys.
If you don't have any bills, $2,000 a week.
Haircut every week. I mean, every other day, whatever it is, lined up. I mean, you're balling.
$8,000 a month with no bills to pay. You're just playing basketball, having fun. Well, I'm sure you got sponsors and shoe sponsors and all that stuff.
That's what's going to come next.
Yeah.
And then that's what I really worry about, because then it infiltrates high schools, and when money gets involved, okay, I don't care what you say. Yeah. That's what that's when the sharks come out, and that's when people do things that maybe they shouldn't be doing, or they bend things that they shouldn't do as far as rule-wise. We see it in college. Like in college now, there's so many different things that they know that people were giving money or whatever it is. It's just a thing out there.
Everybody was getting money.
Everybody's getting money, dude.
Even when I was in high school, I remember all the AAU tournaments and stuff. These kids would show up, like some of the teams, like the Brooklyn Gauchos and all the teams that had like the crazy.
Dude, I mean,
these kids were like Nike, Jordan, everything, warm-up suits, pulling up in nice SUVs and stuff. And this is like back in the day. Like,
yes.
I mean, LeBron James had a Hummer. He had old jerseys. He had big chains and stuff. Living in the projects with his mom at 16.
For real.
So
I mean, it's just crazy. So we'll see, because if it gets to that level, man, it's gonna be serious.
And what about the women? If they let the men do it, now it might be a thing, or it's discrimination. We have to let the girls do it too. And how much are they going to get paid? They may only get 20 or 10 because in the NBA, LeBron gets so much more than the women make. So then it has the whole nother.
Oh man!
And then if it crosses over into the whole transgender whatever thing going on, then you might have a guy that identifies as a girl that wants to play in the high school girls league, so they can get the money, money, and then now you could identify back. I mean,
they were doing that for scholarships. Now they can do it for money.
Yeah, now they can do it for money, especially track and field, like individual sports where it's like dominated by physical and power.
The team at this point doesn't feel bad about it, because the team, most of these big companies and stuff like that, big corporations, they're welcoming some of these different things as far as transgenders and males competing as females and going through with this. So they're going to, benefit from that, from the public eye standpoint. And then they want their team to be the best. They don't care. They don't care. They just want to win.
Yeah.
So at that point, that's going to give them the edge and possibly the win. I mean, it's I don't know, man. We're in a dark place in some of these areas, man. All right, so more surgery for the Russian Popeye.
Idiot.
Popeye idiot, yeah. So if you guys have not seen this guy, there's this dude that's online. He's from Russia. This guy was injecting all this synthol in his arms, and then he put these petroleum jelly implants in his arms so he could have, like, some of the biggest arms, I guess. Now, this guy looks stupid, all right? He looks ridiculous. It's stupid. It's if you see the guy, I don't want to say, like, freak, because that's a bad word, but this guy looks like it's freakish. It's and the surgeries he's had to go through because of the infections and stuff like that. And now he needs another surgery to get these implants out because of the inflammation and, and all the problems he's having health-wise. And this is it's just an example of, listen, don't do stupid stuff because you're going to have health problems that you might not live through. Or you're gonna have to face, like, look at his arms. I mean, it just
And
looks stupid.
don't fill your body parts with oil. I mean, I don't care what the substance of oil is.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, even if it's an HRT, you're not doing. This guy's putting probably 10, 20 mLs in his arm at once.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only a matter of time before it's gonna bust open.
Yeah.
It's oil based, which is sitting there. It's not like Hercules potion where it's water based, thin, a small amount. It's gonna disperse. This guy puts a golf ball or a baseball sized oil in his arm. It just sits there.
Yep.
Abscess, infection. His arms are always discolored.
Yeah.
They're always like black and blue and reddish and irritated.
That's what I'm saying.
These people are mental.
It looks
They're
horrible.
mental. It looks
Looks
terrible.
horrible.
And now he's gonna have permanent scarring, permanently. So if you're that obsessed with making your arms big, now they're trash. So now he'd probably get depressed or something like that. Yeah.
Another one that happened this last week. You guys are sneakerheads, like I am. This was really hitting home on you. So Nike exec has to basically resign after 25 years. She was a general manager and VP of sales in North America. That's a huge job, a huge and a big job title. Yeah. You're getting a lot of money from that job. Over 25 years with the company, that's a long time. 20 years is usually that's retirement level at that point. Like that's when back in the day, they'd give you the gold watch and stuff like that after 20 years of service. Even if you're a police officer or whatever it is, after 20 years, that's when those benefits kick in. So with this, her son, right, he owns West Coast Shop or whatever it is. And at that point, her son gets her in trouble. The reason why is because he wants to flaunt that, he has this booming business and, on his Instagram, basically, and you see pictures of him, it was thousands and thousands of these rare shoes when they came out on the release date, with his face blurred out and stuff like that. But he went to this huge publication and at that point told them the story. Hey, listen, I get all these shoes. I'm one of the best. Here's what it is. Probably to bring more advertising to his business, right? Well, this reporter starts to dig a little bit and finds out that this guy is the son. He's a 19-year-old kid, the son of Ann Herbert, who's the longtime Nike executive that runs Sneakers. So if you don't know what Sneakers app is what you have to go to get the new releases of Jordans or any like limited shoe out there. It's supposed to be the most fair way to do it, basically. They pick randomly who gets in on the cart and can check out with the shoes. So she's running all this, all North American sales and all this. So at that point, some people find out about this after the reporter reports it, and there starts being a lot of problems for her, and obviously Nike finds out about it, and she's done. So another thing that she was doing was she was giving him vital information. And what I say about vital information is this.
Releases and stuff.
She would tell him the release dates. What he would do is he would pack up a U-Haul and he would drive around to all the Nike outlets, and he'd know when those shoes were dropping there, all the times, dates, special releases. And then what he would do is he would sell the information for $250 a pop. So on a release date, if 10 people want to know when it was going to release at such and such outlet, 250 you, 250 you, 250 you, 250 you. Now, the real way that they found out about this, or it traced back to Ann, who was the executive, is this dumbass was using her card.
A corporate card.
What are you doing?
Maybe that card has such activity on it that he would think, oh, they're just going to see shoes. They won't know it's me. I don't know. That's
it
crazy.
goes right back to her. So when they look up billing information, it has her name on it. Yeah. And she's saying she had no information about him doing this as far as using these discount codes or using her credit card. You think about $100,000 of sneakers getting bought on your card. But I would.
But if you're not checking your money and you have other people doing it for you, they
wow.
might,
I don't care how big you are. At that point, if you came from nothing, you will check your bank account every day, especially with online banking. Yeah. Before you couldn't. Now you can check it anytime you want through an app or through.
I love it.
I check it. I don't care. I don't care. And we have a lot of money that goes out, goes in. Dude, I check every time.
I like it because it saves like the worry of being scammed too. Like yesterday, I made a donation for it was like a foster kids program for backpacks. So I made a donation, and then afterwards, I'm like, okay, I'm waiting on this confirmation email. I didn't get the email. When I made the donation originally, it was like it was a cash app to a person that was like with this organization. So I'm like, you know, it's kind of like, you don't know. But then as soon as I got the email, it was like encrypted and all this.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, good. If this was like before that, I'd be like,
right.
she could have had, I mean, who knows what they would have done.
Of course.
Because there's so many
Scammers.
scams with all these money sending apps, you know,
Absolutely.
like Zelle
Absolutely.
and Cash App and Venmo, all these apps. So people are always using that now. I know people have gotten scammed big time
Big
off
time.
that. You
Big
got to be
time.
careful just sending stuff to
Big
people.
time. So,
5-minute warning, gentlemen. 5-minute warning.
all right. So next one is Mississippi passes the bill banning transgender student athletes.
I think that's great. I don't care if you're transgender. I mean, I could care less. But I don't think you should be competing against people that were born either male or female.
Right.
I mean, as fighters cracking skulls right now, there's
That's
an
right.
MMA fight literally cracking skulls. I don't think it's fair. And I think a lot of other states are going to use this too. They're going to, as a state, decide as opposed to, you know, the country or the president, whoever.
This is something we need to talk about on another
Yeah.
show more in depth. But
I think they need to have their own league.
yeah.
If it's going to be more common that there's more
agree.
transgender high school or even middle school, I don't know.
Do we have that many people
They
out
need-
there that you think they're transgender that need to be in high school transgender though? I mean, think about it.
Right.
You know, when you're growing up, you especially middle school and high school, those are the most awkward years per se to some people. They haven't found themselves. They don't really know truly who they are. They can experiment or think. You think at one point in your life, right, in middle school, you were a certain type of way, and this is the way you're going to be forever.
Yeah.
And then through life, you evolve, and you might
Yeah,
change.
5 years later, you're like, oh, I used to have my hair down to my, I used to have
wear
pink
Jenko.
hair.
You used to wear Jenko jeans. Now you don't. You never wear those things in your life, right? I mean, it's a great example. You know, hairstyles or I mean, just different things like this. So
or even tattoos.
tattoos. That's another big
I'd
one.
rip all these tattoos off. If I
That's
could.
another big one. I mean, come on. I got this when I was 17 years old, so I know about that, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, clearly, and they have to go through a psychiatrist one session or something like that. That's not enough. I mean, if there's truly a need for this, there's obviously some issues going on possibly that happened or something like that, or who knows. But I mean, at that point, I don't think they're in the right mindset. When
to
you're
make that decision.
when
And
you're at that age,
the thing is
your
it's getting
hormones
even
are out of
younger
whack
than that.
anyway.
But the thing is, there's people that are allowing their kids to make that decision before they even hit puberty.
That's
So
horrible.
it's not even a hormonal issue, and
That's
it's like,
horrible.
I mean,
It's horrible, dude.
yeah. So I mean, I don't. Again, be who you want to be. I do not care, but I feel like as it becomes more and more transgender in high school, this and that, I feel like they should just have their own league, especially track and field. They bring it up a lot in track and field because the individual sport, it's based off of speed and power, which man usually has more than a woman.
Of course.
So if they're going to have, and plus, a lot of times these track meets, you could run as independent. So you don't really have to run for a school, this and that. Why not just have like a transgender, not so much like an Olympics, why not just have like a transgender games?
Right.
Where they have it, they'll start out that way, they'll have different events, different sports, and then once it gets bigger, then maybe have our own league. But, I mean, there's even a power lifter that was born a man, identifies as a woman, I'm not sure, New Zealand, Australia, that's breaking all these records, and literally, like, it's like me out there
I know.
with a wig on, lifting the weight.
You see big
I don't care if you want to wear a wig, but you're not going to lift with females.
I agree, man.
Like, come on.
I agree.
That's
So
crazy.
It's a big thing, and like, you know, when you think about males transferring into females and then competing. Okay, so they are taking things that might lower their testosterone levels. They're taking estrogen to raise, right? But they have bigger bone density, and they have bigger lung capacity. This is a fact, 100%. And I don't have nothing against transgenders. You be who you want to be, but I think at 18 you should make that decision of what you want to do.
1 minute.
Otherwise,
Sorry.
hormones are going to be that effect. No thanks, Art. So hormones are going to play a big difference there. If you're a female going to a male, you're taking testosterone, so you're probably going to be higher than what those high school athletes are possibly.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's a big thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're going to have to start going down to testing and stuff like that to see where levels are at. But it doesn't matter. Hormone levels aside, if you're a male going to a female sport, you're going to have bigger bone density. You're going to have a bigger lung capacity. You're going to be able to, in most cases, outperform that female.
Because I know for NCAA, it's like either a year or two. You have to go through therapy for a year or two. So, say if you're a woman wanting to be a man, you have to do testosterone for a year or two, and there's like a grace period. But I don't think a year or two was enough time. I mean,
Here's the problem now. So even if you're under 18 years old, you can take testosterone.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? It's a controlled substance. Oh, we give shit to guys every day about. Oh no, you guys can't take testosterone. General practitioners, the guy comes in. I'm tired, I'm lethargic. I want this belly fat off. No, that's gonna kill you. No, let's give this to this 13-year-old kid because he wants to train transgender.
Yeah.
Come on, man. I mean, this is stupid.
Yeah.
It's stupid. Straight up, like I'm all about everybody wanting to be who they want to be, but at 18, you make that decision and you want to do it. On your own. At that point, if we're doing this stuff, and we're
see, the thing is too is